The online course that I propose to develop and deliver is the Digital Citizenship for the Middle Year Student Distance Education course. The first question that we have to ask is, why do we need a digital citizenship course? When schools began implementing technology, the need was for students to become familiar with the technology. Well, this wasn't digital citizenship, but digital literacy. Digital literacy served its purpose and still does. However, with the dramatic increase in using technology in the K-12 classroom and students having greater access to technology, comes the challenge of teaching students to model appropriate and responsible behavior online. Digital citizenship education focuses on the person using the technology and not the technology itself. Furthermore, digital citizenship continues to be a topic among educators and parents as occurrences of cyberbullying, online harassment, and sexting continue to be a concern. And although Holy Trinity Catholic School Division has some resources for teachers to teach digital citizenship, the division does not have an online course dedicated to teaching students about becoming a global digital citizen. The proposed course would fulfill this need. Schools have prepared students to become citizens in the traditional sense, and now we must prepare students to become digital citizens. I will follow Khan's octagonal framework to present my proposed online digital citizenship course, beginning with the first element, institutional. This online digital citizenship course will be created for the Holy Trinity Catholic School Division. Holy Trinity has an enrollment of around 2,400 students, 320 staff, with over half being teachers. The division has 9 schools located in 3 communities that are geographically spread out, with 7 schools in Moose Jaw, 1 school in Swift Current, and 1 school in Shaunavon. And because of this geographical location of the students, an online class in digital citizenship would be able to reach a large number of these students that a face-to-face class could not. Our division's mission statement and division theme supports well the proposed online digital citizenship course, as the program will teach students to honor diversity and live together in unity when using technology. Holy Trinity is governed by 6 board members, 1 from Shaunavon, 2 from Swift Current, and 3 from Moose Jaw. Our Director of Education and Superintendent of Learning are based out of Moose Jaw and oversee the implementation of new courses, including our recently added enhanced digital classroom. The primary stakeholders for the course will be the students, parents, guardians, teachers, administration, including both school and senior administrators, and the technology coordinator. Consideration will need to be made in regards to content that the course will cover. There might be pushback from some stakeholders, including parents and teachers, and perhaps administrators, when covering sensitive topics such as sexting. For student services, teachers and students are supported by the following student support services within the division. There's a superintendent of learning, a coordinator of learning, psychologist, language pathologist, and a counselor. In addition, the digital citizenship course would also be supported through our technology coordinator and the EdTech team. Academic affairs, the course will be offered at the beginning of the school year in September and follow the Moose Jaw Schools calendar. Swift Current and Shaunavon follow their own calendar, but because Moose Jaw is the larger center and most likely that the majority of the students taking the online course will be from Moose Jaw, following that calendar will make most sense. Funding of the course will come from the school division. Holy Trinity receives 84% of its revenue through government grants, 10% through property tax, and 6% through other means. The funding for the online program would come from the government grant and perhaps from other grants that might be available for distance education courses. The biggest cost of the program will be the cost of a teacher who will develop and then deliver the program. The user interface design will be created using the Google Suite platform, which is free for schools to use. And before the teacher begins to develop the course, professional development will be offered in the areas of course design and in how to use the Google Suite for course delivery. There will be additional costs to the school division in the area of hardware and software. The division will need to purchase Chromebooks for the online students so that they have the technology they will require to complete the course. Google Suite is free for divisions to use. However, there may be additional cost in software in the form of licenses for additional programs that may be required as the course is being developed. Our second element in the framework is pedagogical. We'll start with content analysis. The digital citizenship course is not part of Saskatchewan's core curriculum. However, it will be mandatory for grade 6 to 8 students to participate in it who are learning remotely. The course will consist of 14 modules that will support the Saskatchewan Ministry of Education Policy Planning Guide for the delivery of digital citizenship in Saskatchewan schools. As for the learner, the course will be developed for students in grades 6 to 8, and students enrolled in the course may be located in one of the 3 locations within the school division. Each student will come to the course with a different experience with distance education. For many, the only experience with online learning may be from when schools went to distance education at the beginning of the pandemic. And this is why Module 1 of the course will provide the student with an orientation to the course that will include technology use, expectations and responsibilities of the learner and the teacher, online etiquette, how to communicate with peers, and the instructor effectively, and how to find help when students run into problems. Goal analysis. The overall goal of the program will be to prepare students in the responsible use of technology in both their academic and personal lives. The digital citizenship course will be a part of the division's delivery of the health curriculum and meet a number of outcomes and indicators that are found in the health curriculum, which can be found on this page here. Course design. The digital citizenship course will use interactive modules to deliver the outcomes and goals of the course. Additionally, the course will be designed to offer opportunities for students to interact with others and connect their learning to real-life situations. This interaction will happen through discussions the students will engage in with fellow students in the class and with the teacher through both synchronous and asynchronous means. Each module will use lesson plans from the Common Sense Media Digital Citizenship site. Each module will include a lesson plan that the teacher will follow using the classroom resources for students to access. These classroom resources include things like lesson slides, multimedia resources, student handouts, and a lesson quiz. In addition, there are take-home resources that will also be available for families, and these may include a family activity, family tips, and family engagement resources. The modules will also be supported through Ribble's 9 Elements of Digital Citizenship and Davis's 9 Key Ps of Digital Citizenship. And finally, learning theory. The digital citizenship course will best reflect the learning theory of Holmberg's theory of interaction and communication. The course will include activities that support Holmberg's view of distance education as a constructivist mode of learning. Students will be provided with opportunities and activities to use hands-on learning to learn content and to help keep students motivated throughout the course. Our next element in the framework is technological. We will take a look at hardware and software. Students will be able to access the digital citizenship course using any computer or device that has the following: a camera, a microphone, and speakers to participate in both asynchronous and synchronous instruction. Students who do not have the required technology will be able to borrow a Chromebook from the school division. Families will be required to complete a user agreement form, and another consideration must be made for those families who may not have internet access from home. The school division will provide a wireless device, such as a MiFi, that will connect the student's device to the internet. It is possible for students to use a tablet as their main device for the course, but it must have the necessary components that was listed above, such as the camera, the software, microphone, and speakers. These devices won't be supported by the division, but any Chromebook that is borrowed and has any issues, the division will be able to take a look at it and fix it if needed. Software. The online digital citizenship course will be using Google platform that requires little in the form of software. Students who borrow a Chromebook will have the software needed to participate in the course installed already. Students who are using a home computer will be encouraged to use Chrome as their web browser, as it does work seamlessly with Google Classroom. Many students already are familiar with the Google platform, specifically Google Classroom, as the teachers in the division did use Google Classroom in their teaching at the beginning of the pandemic and have continued to use it in their face-to-face classrooms. Remembering, though, that training will be provided through the creation of those tutorials found within the course. Our next element is interface design. For web design, the online digital citizenship course will be created using the Google Suite platform, as was mentioned, and students will use the Google Classroom to access the course. Although there are limited features that one can choose from when designing a Google Classroom course, it is still important to remember that the course does need to provide a positive user experience. Keeping in mind the graphic design principles, modules will use a consistent color throughout. We'll use both uppercase and lowercase letter for readability, and we'll add visuals that will direct the user as they work through the modules. For content design, the course will consist of the 14 modules that students complete in approximately 14 weeks. Each module will have the same formatting that will provide repetition and assist students in understanding what they will need to be completed for each module, as each module will be formatted similarly. Navigation. The first thing students will access is a course tour video. This video will explain clearly how to get started and where to find various course components. The video will be found in Module 1 as the starting point of the class, and the video will be embedded inside the course for easy access. In addition, taking a look at accessibility, the course will be accessible to students who are enrolled in the Holy Trinity School Division. Students will use their unique login information to access their Google account, which will then allow them to access the digital citizenship course found in the Google Classroom. And finally, under user interface, usability. During the developmental phase, and once a number of modules have been created, a group of middle year students will be chosen to pilot the completed modules. Feedback from the students' experience will be used to make the required changes that will improve future modules, and those modules perhaps being made for other classes and other grades. Our next element in the framework is evaluation. We'll take a look at both the student evaluation of students and of the course itself. Students will be evaluated before, during, and after each module. Google Forms will be used as the main form of delivery for quizzes and tests. Google Forms allows you to ask various types of questions such as multiple choice, checkboxes, scale and paragraph text that will allow the teacher to ask both open-ended and closed-ended questions. In addition, rubrics will be used to provide direction for students so as to know what is needed to successfully complete assignments. And of course, both formative and summative assessments will be included within each module, again using a variety of assessment tools such as the Google Forms and the individual and group projects that students complete. Well, another important piece of the evaluation component is the evaluation of the course itself. And evaluating how well the program works will happen at the conclusion of the class when all students have completed the course. Using Debbie Morrison's 5 steps to assessing course quality, the online digital citizenship course will be evaluated. In step 1, for course elements, a rubric is actually used to evaluate learner support and resources, online organization and design, instructional design and delivery, and assessment and evaluation of student learning. Step 2 is to analyze the course from a student's perspective. And in this case, a teacher could take a course online as a student to understand what it feels like to be a student learning online. Step 3, to assess course artifacts and materials and feedback. And in this case, the teacher will have the student complete a questionnaire at the end to get feedback on the course and how the student feels about the course. And step number 4, considering student interaction, involves that when assessing the course, one will consider the forms, the discussions, and the interactive assignments that will have hopefully engaged the learners. And finally, step 5 is to take a look at the results. Are students actually learning? And it's important to remember that quizzes and tests may not adequately provide enough evidence that the students have actually learned the content. And real assessment will have taken place when students can show what they have learned through activities using that constructivist approach to learning. Moving on to management. Staffing. A half-time teacher working for 4 months will be required to develop the course. 4 months will provide the time needed to ensure a quality course has been developed, and once the course has been developed, one teacher will be hired to deliver the course online. For the updating and the upkeep of the course, it makes sense that the teacher who developed the course will be the one responsible for the upkeep of the course. However, it will be important to involve the technology coordinator as well. Having 2 people involved will ensure continuation of the program if something should happen to the lead teacher. Continuation. Well, after 1 year of using the course, other courses following the same format may be created at the different grade levels. For grades 3 to 5, for example, maybe the next logical direction. And if that's the case, less time will be needed to create these new courses and would cost less to develop. For registration, the superintendent of learning will be responsible for the registration of students. Once this teacher has the names of who will be registered, the teacher will then be able to provide access to the class by providing each student with a class code. Resource support. Under resource support, we have the technical support and the human support. The main support students will receive is from the teacher of the course. The teacher will provide not only content support, but also technical support if possible. So the teacher will help with hardware and software issues that the student may encounter. The teacher will have his or her own supports in place as well. The division's IT department will be available to provide specific technology support. In fact, Holy Trinity has recently hired 2 part-time coordinators who have created an ed tech help desk for the teachers in the division to access. So this help desk will be the main form of support for the teacher to request support in any technical questions or issues that arise. Supports for the student include, in addition to the teacher, of course, the teacher will be the main support, but there will be also EA support, an educational assistant. Students who may need extra support will have support of an EA who can meet with students individually or in small groups through Google Meet. And additional support that may be required include a counselor. Some topics in the digital citizenship course may require students to speak with someone to help with maybe a personal situation that they're going through. And our last element of the framework is ethical issues, and a few things to talk about here. The first one being student consideration. Although academic integrity, of course, will be a part of this digital citizenship course, it will still be very important to remind students at the beginning about academic integrity, including things like plagiarism and making sure one is doing his or her own work. In addition, students will need to be taught at the beginning of the class the correct or acceptable way of communicating online. For privacy, the online digital citizenship course will only be available to Holy Trinity students who are enrolled at one of the 7 elementary schools. Student information will be stored on the school division servers, and at the end of the course or at the end of the year, courses will be removed from the students' accounts and all student information will be deleted. The course will adhere to the Holy Trinity's Copyright Administrative Procedure 190. This AP recognizes the rights of the creators and ensures staff members are aware of these rights as required by the Copyright Act of Canada. Much of the content that will be used for this course will come from the Common Sense Media website, and this site allows users to use the material found online after creating a user account. Some special needs consideration. Well, with the help of the division coordinator of learning, the division's coordinator of learning, adaptations to the course will be made to meet the needs of those students who require alternate instruction. Furthermore, the following assistive technology tools will also be available if needed for students, such as text-to-speech programs, graphic organizers, an assistive listening system for online videos and synchronous meetings, and finally, proofreading software. And the last thing that we have to take into consideration for ethical issues is cultural diversity. It is important to be aware of the cultural diversity of the students who will be enrolled in the digital citizenship class. Specifically, attention will be made to communication and interaction among students, course design, and knowing that even the aesthetics of a course is crucial to the learning experience of all students. So in conclusion, as Vulcan states, digital citizenship education is required more now than ever before. Students have access to a variety of technology each day, and middle year students deserve the opportunity to learn how to use their technology in a responsible manner. The proposed digital citizenship online course will meet this need and give students the skills they need to become responsible global citizens. So, digital citizenship education is required more now than ever before. Students have access to a variety of technology each day, and middle year students deserve the opportunity to learn how to use their technology in a responsible manner. The proposed digital citizenship online course will meet this need and give students the skills they need to become responsible global citizens.